Hello, here is a review of how to settle ratios. All right. So, every one of these questions has two sections. They have a setup and a question. So the first thing you need to find is the scale factor. And the way to do that is you find a number in the question and the noun. Then you find the corresponding value and you figure out how to go from the corresponding value to that number. What you do is the scale factor. Then you look at the question again, you find the unknown value, you find the corresponding value in the setup, and you do the scale factor to that, and you find your answer. That needs an example. All right. The question is, how many pepperoni slices would be on 15 pizzas? There are no numbers in this except for the number 15, and 15 has to do with pizzas. So now we look up here and we find the word pizzas. There's the word pizzas, and that is 3 pizzas. Therefore, we have to go from 3 to 15. How do you go from 3 to 15? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. Therefore, our scale factor is multiply by 5. Okay, then we'll look at the question. How many pepperoni slices? We look up here, it says 8 pepperoni slices. Since we're going to be multiplying by 5, to get our answer, we'll do 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40, and our answer is 40 pepperoni slices. For 15 pizzas. So, you look for the number, clean this up a little bit. You look for the number, 15 pizzas, go from 3 pizzas, 3 times 5 is 15, therefore the scale factor is multiplied by 5. You look for what it asks for. It asks for pepperoni slices. There's pepperoni slices since that's 8. Since we're multiplying by 5, we do 8 times 5, 40, and therefore 40 pepperoni slices for 15 pizzas. Okay. This is 40 pepperoni slices. This is 8 pepperoni slices. How do you go from 8 to 40? You multiply by 5. Our scale factor is multiplied by 5. Then, what does it ask? It asks how many pizzas. This says 3 pizzas, so we're 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and our answer is 15 pizzas for 40 pepperoni slices. You find the corresponding things, 8 pepperoni slices, 40 pepperoni slices. How do you go from one to the other? That is your scale factor. That's what you're going to do. And you find what it's asking for, you find the information, and you do that to the information. The scale factor is multiplied by 5. The information is 3 pizzas, 3 times 5. All right. This says 4 servings. This says 16 servings. To go from 16 to 4, we are dividing by 4. So our scale factor is divide by 4. If you like your scale factor to always be multiplying, then we're multiplying by 1/4, which is the same as dividing by 4. Then it says how much basil. So we look up basil. It says 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and we answer our question 3 ounces of basil for 4 servings. All right, next one. 10 ounces of vinegar, 20 ounces of vinegar. Divide by 2. How many servings? 16 servings. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 servings for 10 ounces of vinegar. Now, here are some examples that I'd like you to try. First, this says 7 strawberries. This says 14. How do you go from 14 to 7? You divide by 2. divide by 2. It says how many oranges? It says 4 oranges, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, and the answer is 2 oranges. 4, 7 strawberries. This says 20 oranges. This said 4 oranges. How do you go from 4 to 20? You multiply by 5. So this says how many strawberries? That's 14 strawberries. So 14 times 5 is 70. 70 strawberries would balance 20 oranges. This says $24. This says $8. What do you multiply by? Multiply by 3. So our scale factor is multiplying by 3. This says how much candy? This says 4 bags of candy. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 bags of candy. Decide what to do. Do that. Find your answer. This says 2 bags. This says 4 bags. To go from 4 to 2, we divide by 2. This says how much? This says $8. $8 divided by 2 is $4 for 2 bags of candy. Okay, now we have to find a unit rate. You're trying to go to the singular noun. What does it say one of? You find the corresponding value, you divide to make that value singular. Right, this is ounce. Ounce is singular. This is 20 ounces. To go from 20 ounces to 1 ounce, you divide by 20. This says what is the cost? This says $3. 3 divided by 20. 3 divided by 20 is 0.15, so it is $0.15 per ounce. Divide. Find out the unit rate. You try it. Bag is singular. 4 bags is plural. To go from 4 to 1, we have to divide by 4. This says what is the cost? This says $8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. $2 per bag of candy is the unit rate. Now, if you're comparing, you find both unit rates, and then you look at them and you compare them. A, 8 divided by 4 equals $2 per bag. B, 10 divided by 6 is 1.6 repeating, or $1.67 per bag. It says which is cheaper, so which is less? B is cheaper. How do you know? 1.67 is less than 2. You try it. Find both rates. Coder. 1,000 divided by 8 equals 125. So coders earn $125 per hour. Designer. 840 divided by 7 is 120, so designers earn $120 per hour. Which is paid more? Coders are more. Coders are paid more. How do we know 125 is greater than 120? And that's the whole thing. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher.